Hey everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be talking about ways to buy lowest premium silver and gold, and I'm going to specifically talk through 5 different strategies that I have. All of them have their pros and cons, and we're going to be going over them in detail. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but this should be a very helpful resource for people who are trying to stack silver, trying to stack gold, and doing it affordably. Number 1 is going to be to get a great relationship with a local coin shop or bullion dealer, and my experience has been those are a lot of where the good silver deals are, and gold. I should just say precious metals. But the reason for this is that they want to work with as few people as possible on the selling angle for the most part. I'm talking about the average coin shop. And they want to make sure that those people are reliable and are going to pay them when they have items. So that's why they often will work with and not get the last dollar to sell to a refinery or a big, think of the big bullion companies. They all have sort of trading floors, trading desks where they get material and source that from coin shops. So if you can pay maybe a touch over at first, and if you do it consistently, really meet them right what it would cost to send to these bigger dealers, I found that often they will offer that material to me, who's somebody who is sort of a collector and on the dealing side. And it's really important that you're reliable. So maybe you tell them, can I have, and maybe you're friendly, you've bought from them a little bit in the past, but the next $10 of face value, or hopefully it's always better to do larger, and that's going to be another general theme in a moment. I'll spoil it, but you want to have more silver when you buy or more gold when you buy at a time, because then it's just more cost, the economics of it are much better. You can't really expect to get a great deal on $2.50 of silver bullion. So, junk silver. The second is, as long as they're reputable, there can be some really good deals to be had on a lot of the third-party sites or from non-serious sellers. And when I say that, I mean like Instagram, Reddit, or some of the coin shops that have websites where they're just trying to move things quickly and not looking for the last dollar. The issue is I see more and more scam pages on these websites popping up that are just looking to lure you in with a really good promise and then take your money. So you want to have people that have good references, ideally people that you know, ideally in person, and trust, who have dealt with these individuals in the past or have a really good framework and tons of reviews that are real. If something's way too good to be true, it's not going to, but I know that I've sold, not recently, but I've given people some phenomenal deals on something like Reddit when I used to sell occasionally there. Even some of my whatnot shows, I don't really specialize in silver bullion. Sometimes I get a little bit of it in, and I found that I sell it pretty cheap compared to anywhere else. But most of the time, the online sites, if you go for really reputable places, they're going to be charging the premiums you're trying to avoid. But if you can go to some of the trustworthy sort of third-tier sellers, that's where you can get some good deals. A brief aside before we get to number 3, I do want to know what you're paying and how it trades normally with a premium. So if you can get American Silver Eagles, that's going to trade with a very high premium, and it should retain those if you sell those, especially if you then become that third-party seller selling to somebody else. But if you're going to go and buy a lot of 40% Kennedy half dollars, 35% war nickels on the silver side, you really don't want to mess with non-trustworthy gold. But even I love world silver, it just doesn't trade with the same premiums that the US stuff does if it's like Canadian 50% or Canadian 80%, or a lot of the world silver actually as a collectible coin does trade well above and possibly more reliably in circulating conditions the silver value. But that's something to just be aware of. Or are you going to get silver shot or scrap silver, a sterling silver plate? Those are not, you want to put in context the premiums you're paying with what type of item you're paying for. But number 3 is going to be buy more silver, buy more gold. If you can buy something that's larger, it's going to be cheaper. Now, there's downsides because it could be very fractional. And I should say the downsides is on number 2, you could buy something fake. Downsides for a dealer is that they may be less predictable and they may be just unwilling to offer you that and sometimes it's the case because you're not reliable, so then they really just don't want to deal with you if you can't be good for what you say you're good for. But again, number 3, you want to buy more. So a 100-ounce or 1,000-ounce bar will simply have a lower premium than 100 or 1,000 1-ounce bars, coins, rounds. And as a result, they may be less challenge. You're probably going to get less on the other side, and there's some issues because it's maybe not as fractional, or you can't sell 10 or 20% of a 100-ounce bar. You have to sell the whole thing. But you should know, buy more at a time, or that could be quantity. Some people will sell you 1,000 face of silver for less of a premium than 100 face because they're profiting at some level, so they're just looking at it on the overall transaction. But that's something that's good to know. Number 4 would be to buy, and this is the probably the best type of person to buy from, people who are looking to sell their own collection or a real non-business seller. I'm not even talking about like a flipper, but if you have somebody who says, oh yeah, I have a lot of coins, I want to sell them, do you know a good place to sell them? You should take a look and make them an offer. I would say just don't rip people off. I think that's one of the more important things that people, I wish, would know a lot better, but pay people fairly. If a coin shop wants to sell you a Morgan dollar for $35 and the coin shop is paying $22, if you can pay somebody $25 or $26, and maybe the retail value is $35, but there's wholesale sellers offering them at $29 or $30, that seems much more fair because you're saving people money, but then also are able to acquire it cheaply. And if you want to in the short term flip it, you probably can and make a little bit of money, or buy when you're buying coins. This is not really though a flipping, but if you're looking to acquire silver, the only issue is if it's fake, you're probably not going to get your money back. You can just tell somebody, oh, I just bought your collection, but I found a few fake ones, give me money back. That's not, you sort of assume the risk. That's how it works when you buy like from a friend or just from a contact. And then this is a very challenging, if I had a million friends that all had big collections to sell me of silver and they were going to sell them for just a little more than what the coin shop buys them for, I would buy all of them and then I would retire. So it's very uncommon to find that. Number 5 is going to get me some flack from the online community, but probably the best way to buy low premium silver and gold is to do it in fractional shares online. So when I say best way to buy, it's going to be super convenient. There should be minimal transaction fees or costs. Maybe you pay a few % a year. You can buy ETF. You want to do this through an established brokerage. I don't really like the sort of gold IRAs, and they charge a really high management fee, or they try to sell you on Proof 70 gold modern bullion products when you just want to be invested in gold. And it's not an investment advice video, but what I'm saying is there are very easily attainable fractional shares that just track the futures pricing in bulk quantities for silver or gold. It's not physical silver, but they should all, you want to do this from a reputable source so that the gold really is there, the silver is there. I don't really believe that there's some conspiracy-minded people who think that that's not the case. And again, it's a difference of opinion. I think there's a lot of different opinions. People say, I don't think there is. Others say that there are. I generally believe that the good ones do have the silver or gold. There'd be a whistleblower or two if they didn't, but who knows? All I'm saying is I think that that's a really convenient way, and then when you go to sell, you'll do so from the comfort of your own home. If it takes you 2 or 3 hours to go buy, it's a fun experience, but to buy physical silver, or you could just do it with the click of a button, and then it takes you the same amount of time to sell it or more, and then you could have just clicked a button. Maybe if you're purely from a financial angle, you could have just worked those hours and gotten paid, or spent those hours, with family, something like that. But anyways, hope that this was helpful. 5 ways to buy and sell silver, low premiums, and gold, low premiums. Important thing to know how to do. And I'll look forward to hearing your thoughts and potential criticisms in the comments. Thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to visit our website, treasuretown.com, to stay up to date on everything going on the channel and possibly get some great deals on coins and collectibles. We look forward to seeing you on our future videos, and best wishes until then.